Does dress code matter? Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of The Future in 5. My name is still Jacob Morgan, and this is where I share my thoughts, ideas, and commentary on the future of work in 5 minutes or less. Today I wanted to talk about a simple but interesting topic, and that is, does dress code matter in the workplace? In other words, does it really matter if you show up in a t-shirt versus a suit and tie? Should organizations enforce dress code? Does dress code really have an impact on corporate culture, etc.? Short answer, yes. Dress code does have a big impact. But it's not just dress code. It's sort of a big picture overview. It's a big picture of a lot of things that come into play. Dress code, corporate culture, technologies that you use, etc. But let's talk about dress code for a minute. So, true story. I went into my favorite hamburger place where I go every Friday. It's called True Burger in Oakland. And I go in there and get my usual cheesy True Burger, and then I go around the corner and get a dessert. And as I was waiting in line to get my cheeseburger, there were two IT guys that were sitting there talking. One IT guy was sitting there in casual attire. He was sitting in jeans, and he was sitting in a t-shirt, something like what I have on. And his friend, another IT guy, was sitting right next to him, and he was wearing slacks and a dress shirt. And as I'm standing in line, I'm listening to these two IT guys talk to each other. One guy was working at a... I don't remember the name of the company, but it sounded like it was a smaller, medium-sized company. And the other guy was working at a large, established tech company. Ignore my crazy dog in the background. But he's working at this large tech company. And the two guys are sitting there talking, and I hear one guy say, oh, you have all this corporate attire. And he says, oh no, today's casual Friday. I'm wearing slacks and a dress shirt. And he pulled out his tie from his pocket and said, I always keep a tie with me just in case, the boss comes in and I have to put it on. And the guy sitting across from him was pretty much like, oh man, that really sucks. In my company, we always get this casual attire. Employees are happy, they're more engaged, etc. It's good to, kind of express yourself at work. So yes, dress code does matter. It's very commonsensical, right? I know it's a word I like to use. But if you force people to show up to work every day in a suit and tie, that creates inherently a stuffy, conservative, different type of environment. You could see why that type of environment isn't perhaps as conducive to collaboration and transparency and openness and trust versus another environment where it's a little bit more casual and lax, and people feel like they're able to communicate a little bit more with each other. It opens up a little bit of collaboration, gets that dialogue going. People are more comfortable in the clothes that they are wearing. So it does actually matter. I understand there are certain situations and circumstances where if you have customer-facing roles, if you're out on the road, then yes, it does make sense to be in whatever business attire that you need. But I highly encourage managers to lighten up a little bit on the dress code, right? I went once, I got brought into this large grocery retailer, and I walk into this company, everybody was sitting there in a suit and tie. I'm talking 600 people there in a giant room, cubicles everywhere, everybody's sitting in a suit and tie. And I couldn't for the life of me figure out why this was the case. None of them had customer-facing roles, and I was told that they brought this up to the CEO, and the CEO said, it was like this the day I got here, it's going to be like this the day I die. That's it. No rationale, no reasoning. Everybody has to wear a suit and tie, corporate stuck-up environment just because the CEO says so. That doesn't make any sense when we're thinking about the future of work, customized work, employee engagement, employee empowerment, employees being able to drive how they want to work, when they want to work, where they want to work. It's really important for us to look at some of these very simple, basic things like dress code and say, does it really make sense for everybody to wear a suit and tie every day? Does it really impact us if this guy wears shorts or if he wears jeans and a t-shirt? How flexible can we be? I think you will find, and a lot of the organizations here in the Bay Area that tell me this, tell me that, as they lighten up with dress code a little bit, people get a little bit more comfortable. And you don't need a giant research study to prove this. You don't need, some sort of crazy big list of data and companies that have run experiments to prove this. I mean, you listening to this and watching this, how would you feel if you had to wear a suit and tie to work every day in a non-customer facing role versus if you had the opportunity to wear jeans or a t-shirt? You probably feel more comfortable in wearing in jeans and a t-shirt. So I do think dress code matters. I think it has a huge impact on trust, on engagement, on collaboration. But again, it's not just dress code by itself as an isolated single factor that it's going to magically change everything within your company. Still, I do think it is a factor. I think it's one of the easiest things that organizations can change to lighten up a little bit and show that they are looking to be a little bit more progressive and forward thinking. Simple thing to do, but it says a lot. Curious to hear what you think. What is your dress code in your company? Are you allowed to wear casual attire? Do you have to wear a suit and tie? And how does that impact you? How do you feel based on the clothes that you are wearing? Clothes obviously has a huge impact on how we feel, on confidence levels, etc. I mean, we should be able to we should be able to wear within reason what we want to wear, right? I mean, if we can use the technologies that we want, we can work where we want and when we want, why shouldn't we be able to wear clothes that is comfortable, but still appropriate for the business environment? If you want to get more access to videos and the podcast where I interview authors and business leaders and executives, they're all an hour long, you can visit thefutureorganization.com and click on the podcast tab. You can also check me out on Twitter at Jacob M. You can email me, jacob@thefutureorganization.com. And as usual, check out the FOW community. That's FOWcommunity.com. And that is where you can connect with lots of other organizations that are all thinking about and exploring what the future of work is going to look like. That's it for me for this week. I will see you next time on an episode of The Future in 5. Hey, are you interested in the future of work? If so, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get all the latest content on the future of work and stay up to date on all the latest trends and happenings. Not to mention, you will make me very, very happy. Make sure to subscribe.